You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's America's Next Top Model After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's America's Next Top Model After Show.
Yay!
Woo! Welcome everyone. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing the America's Next Top Model After Show College Edition. We're into episode 5, and oh my gosh, the biggest shocking elimination of the season that I literally cannot even still believe. We're almost on the next episode, and I still can't believe this elimination this week. I'm Jackie Miranne over in the East Coast, representing New York. But the beautiful ladies in the studio, always holding it down for us in LA. Hello, Lauren.
Hello, Jackie. Hello, all.
Hello, Allyssa.
Hi, everybody.
And Erica, welcome back.
Hi.
Racing in from LA traffic, right?
Yes. I think Carmageddon came here a little early. For those of you not here in LA, they're shutting down part of Freeway this weekend, which is pretty much the end of the world for LA. So it's pretty insane.
Well, of course, it was kind of the end of the world for a lot of top model fans to sort of lead us right into it because, I mean, we'll get to it in more detail, but just up front. Leila, what? Being eliminated? One of the strongest models that could make it in the real world, probably in the last 5 or 6 seasons that I can remember on Top Model, eliminated in the 5th episode? What? Is anybody else freaking out?
Yes, I think this could be where like the social media and all that might be like a disconnect, or like might end up hurting. It's great to have like the fans and all that feedback, and we love that, but I think this could be the problem with having social media because she should 100% not have been eliminated.
Right, not at all.
I mean, even one of the judges was crying. Brian Boy
was crying.
His little tears as she left. It was pretty sad.
It was, yeah. Tyra didn't want her. Tyra was like, I don't agree with this at all. But I mean, I think that's the problem. We'll get into the details later. But I think the problem was like the social media score wasn't matching up. And maybe her picture wasn't like the best picture ever this week. But I don't know.
Still, I mean, Kelly gave her a low score, though.
Kelly was this week to me.
Yeah, Kelly gave her a very low score, but you know, that's the whole thing with getting the public's opinion and the public's perception, and I think that's one of the things that Tyra kind of did right in this season is bringing that element in and kind of shocking some of us a little bit by, you know, in the real world, it is important, all the fans and the social media, and that's really coming into play here. And you know, I think in some ways the public spoke a little bit about what they thought about her. Yes, she's high fashion, but overall, she didn't do it for them.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, it's crazy, but I have to say, I feel like the judges went from being like huge Leila fans to in like a flip change. Like if this was like the demise of Leila, and you didn't even see it coming. It just like smacked you over the face like the Laura Kristin team up that we're going to start talking about next.
Mean Girls 2.0.
It was crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like a total flip switch in a lot of ways this episode.
Yeah.
Are we all in agreement on that one?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
You can totally see her the entire episode. I don't know why. I felt like that episode was foreshadowing that she was going to get kicked off. Totally, because you can see her get into her head and just go deeper and deeper as the show progressed because of all the things that are going on. You know what I mean? It's that whole, like, your head affects everything, your confidence, and just from the walk all the way down to the photo shoot just.
And one of the things about this show that's always interesting, especially after watching it season after season, I'm sure a lot of our viewers can agree with this too. Like, 15, 20 minutes into it, you can pretty much predict who the bottom two is going to be just on who they're focusing on, who they're talking about. I mean, it's funny. It's kind of like a game I play with myself when I'm watching the show. Within like 10 minutes, I try and guess who's bottom two. It's just so, in some ways, it's so obvious by the editing. And so, right away, I knew Leila was going to be down there. But it was just so sad. She was pretty much crying the entire episode. Every time she was in the, confessional, she was crying. I was like, oh, poor girl.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't think she'd be eliminated, but I thought bottom two for sure. I did not think eliminated.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You know what, though? It's funny that you say that. I agree with you that when you do see a lot of a girl that you do think that. But with this, I just thought it happened to be that the most ridiculous drama that you could imagine that just makes you want to puke while you're watching it. I thought it was just that she happened to land at the center of that this time.
Yeah, like it was coincidental.
I didn't necessarily think she'd be in the bottom when she was in her drama. Like, I thought this was just like ridiculous girl drama that you can't help but focus on and make the focus of the episode this drama. I really did not think it would land her in the bottom two, to be honest. So I was still floored when, that whole thing happened, and it was just crazy to me. But, you're right. No matter what, she was the focus of the episode. She was crying from the get-go. And
Jacqueline,
I don't know if I necessarily blame her. We have to get into this drama because it opened the show, and it also is so ridiculous. I just can't even begin to talk about this. So what do you guys think? I'm going to let you guys weigh in before I say anything, because I can go on and rant about anything that involves Kristin, but I want to know what you guys take of the drama.
I personally was really disappointed in Laura. I honestly, why stoop down to that level? Or maybe she's revealing how she really is. But Leila, to me, seemed, from what we saw, seemed like a totally cool girl, and they seemed to have some friendship. And then all of a sudden, Laura is getting, Best Picture, and maybe she's feeling a little high and mighty, and kind of starting to turn into like the too big for her britches, like a high on the hog, mean girl, if you will. I know we throw that term around a lot, but I mean, it's kind of fitting. And she wasn't necessarily mean, like in a Kristin way, where she was like throwing jabs and making like bitchy comments, but she was just acting like holier than thou. And I felt like when we got into that whole argument, like a little bit later, where they're like, maybe we'll get into that later, but about how they both started crying. And I don't understand how Laura manipulated that problem to turn it around and make it Leila, like she was the bad person, when Laura was clearly talking behind Leila's back. And Leila was basically coming to her own defense, like, that's not true, we're just friends. And then freaking Laura was like, but whatever. Don't even get me started. That was absolutely ridiculous to me, and it's making me not like her. This is again where social media comes into play. Like, it's hard for me to attach to her pictures, because I look at her, I'm like, oh, she's irritating.
Ugly.
Yeah, and I think too, like with Laura, in some ways, I think you nailed it. I think this is kind of who she is. I think she's a little bit of a spoiled brat. She even admitted it. She's like, everyone thinks I'm obsessed with myself. Everyone tells me that. Everyone says this. Everyone says that. And I think she's just a spoiled, immature person. And it just so happens to be that, this fight revealed that. So I don't know. My opinion of Laura definitely, like you guys too, went down. For sure. And now it's kind of like, Laura, Kristin, Mean Girl Team 2.0. So.
Totally.
Well, I'm just wondering, why did she start crying? I feel like she totally manipulated the situation, and she made it all about her. And she lied.
Laura started crying.
Yeah. I mean, she's telling Leila one thing, and then she goes and she's telling and she's the one starting the drama by going to, hey, she wrote me this note. She didn't even write the note. They had an interview with Leila, and she's saying, we had a conversation. I don't know where the note came from. So now she's clearly making stuff up. And then she's telling Leila, well, Kristin's just trying to wedge us apart of our friendship. No.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's just Laura being immature and just being kind of who she is. I think she cries, she's spoiled, like, oh, I'm in the middle of something. Oh, now I'm gonna cry because I don't know what to do and what to say, and I was caught. Like
that reaction was very telling of how manipulative and how she kind of is like a little spoiled. Like, I have to get my way, and all of a sudden I'm looking bad. Well, let me turn it around and make everyone else look bad. When how did no one else in the house see right through that? Well, I mean, me as a viewer watching was like, who is falling for this? You're kidding me, right? Like, she's
and they were. That's the thing, is they were. And the thing, I think she has a plan. This is what I think, because why would you pick Kristin? You were never friends with her in the past. I think she's making frenemies with her.
Ooh, good call. Predictions.
Interesting. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. Well, here's the thing. I hope that's the case. Maybe she's really just that smart, Laura, and she's just making this all happen her way. But let me tell you something. I just went from raving about her icy blonde hair and her couple of weeks of, like, a raise.
You're like, I don't look like that anymore.
And I just want to take it all back. I forget the icy blonde hair.
Right.
It's like it turned her into, you're right. It's like the Lindsay Lohan moment where you get the makeover in Mean Girls and you turn into worse than Rachel McAdams. Forget you, Laura. I'm done with you this episode because I'm so mad that you stooped to Kristin's level, team up with her, think who you are, talk about Leila, then turn it around. You guys, I'm so glad you said exactly what I saw. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't delusional about the whole thing, because I'm like, this isn't for real right now. Yeah. She didn't just talk about Leila in the whole beginning of the episode and then pretend that it was turned around on her and her saying, when someone says something about me, I remember it forever. Well, should we rewind it and show you everything you just said about Leila?
Yeah, right.
Because
I thought that was funny.
Forgetting that she's being filmed during that part. Yeah. Now the whole America sees it, so you can't go back on that.
No. I feel like we are not the only ones who feel that way, hopefully, because if we're all agreeing, I mean, it was just really kind of lame.
Pretty obvious, I think. So.
And her teaming up with Kristin, I wanted to think it was kind of like a weak girl, pretty girl teaming up with the other pretty girl who's the stronger one and is maybe like taking her under her wing. No matter what, it's a bad combination. Yeah, I wanted to think there was an innocent way she got woven into that, but I don't. No. I'm not.
No.
And it's just totally ruining my opinion of Laura. And actually, I'm loving Leila because she did everything right. She was pretty straightforward with Laura, and Laura couldn't handle that, and that's why she broke down.
Yeah. I love it. I was like, amen to you, girl, because she went right to the source. She wasn't, and even when she was talking to Kiara, she wasn't doing it in a malicious, I'm talking smack about you way. It was like, is this what's going on? Because this is what I'm being told is what's going on. Yeah. And she confronted it. Whereas the other one
was very mature. Leila was very mature about it. She's just like, if you have something to say, let's talk about it. Why is everyone talking around us? Let's sit down and talk about it. And then, of course, Laura pulls the boo-hoo, like fake actor tears. Come on now.
Well, then getting into Kristin really quick, I had also read, too, that Leila was saying Kristin was doing her share of just starting drama in general, but she would literally talk about Leila while she was in the room as if she wasn't there.
Oh, my God.
And Leila was like, I'm ignoring it. And then finally she's like, and then I just let it get to me, and that's where my downfall was.
I have no tolerance for that. If someone's doing that, I cannot stand when people talk about you in front of you. Yeah. Like, oh, look what she's doing when you're standing right there. Yeah. To me, I can't. I have zero tolerance for that. So I'm surprised she even waited 10 seconds to react. Yeah. I would have been like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's this girl named Jackie on AfterBuzz, and I really don't like her.
Jackie. I mean, oh, wait, she's on the line.
Oh, you're there. Hi,
it's Jackie. Just, to me, that is so passive-aggressive and immature. I just can't even deal.
Yeah.
Well, that was a very perfect example, and when I get to LA, we're gonna have some words. But anyway,
let's go. Bring it. Just kidding.
But no, honestly, everything is wrong about Kristin. We know that by now. Can I be more annoyed, though, that she actually had a talent in cheerleading and she was able to do well in this photo shoot? Because of all weeks, for her to be able to do well, I just feel like I was like, darn, because she had that leg up.
Yeah, and she looked good. I thought she looked great when she was all dressed up. I thought it was really fitting for her. I know when she came onto set, I was like, I really wanted not to like her, but I thought she looked great.
I was a little hopeful, though, because I remember Johnny Wujek kept saying, and same with Jonty, like, we want you to be a cheerleader, but not so overly cheer, right? Weren't they kind of directing them that way, saying, like, you still need to be a model, not like a rah Ross Spoon Ba. So I was hoping, because I agree with you, I was like, oh, great, she's going to really excel. She has the experience, and Laura's like afraid of height. By the way, please remind me to talk about Laura's
We'll talk about that later.
in judging.
Definitely.
I mean,
Yeah.
Before we get to all the good stuff, though, because there's tons to talk about. We have pictures that we're going to flash up so everyone knows who we're chatting about at the moment. But before we get to all that good stuff, I want to just, hello, Alicia Keys was on the episode.
I mean,
it was almost like she was, the drama took over the mega superstar that she is, but there was that whole great challenge, which, the proceeds go to charity, so that was great. And, to see Kiara freak out over her, and actually Kiara was a really good singer, by the way.
She has a great voice. I thought it was a little presumptuous of her to be like, my voice sounds like yours. I was like, really? But I will say, she opened her mouth and sang, and I was like, it's kind of does have that same smoky quality, and she was good.
I just thought it was hilarious how she just belted out in song. It's like, all right, guess we're in the middle of Glee here. Like, all right, I love Top Model.
It was a little awkward. It was kind of something like Victoria would do, but it was a little awkward.
But I liked it.
I like her.
There you go, girl.
Yeah.
You got the talent. Just show it off. You're on TV. I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
So I was all for it.
I was just going to say, at least I take bold over, like, her acting like an idiot with her,
Totally.
Like, I kind of appreciate the boldness. But, we got another chance to see the girls give their walk a chance. And honestly, I have to say, I really disagree with some of the things that were going on here, because when someone has a bad walk, you can see it from a mile away. And it's like, oh, God, that's bad. I don't think, we're talking about Leila, obviously the shocking elimination. I don't think her walk was as bad as everyone was making it out to be. And trust me, I've seen my share of walks. Tyra was so hard on her for this, which is kind of why the whole thing's weirding me out, that Tyra was so hard on her through the episode, and all the drama happened to happen at the same time. It's all a little fishy to me, but I don't think her walk was as bad as they made it out to be. What do you guys, am I imagining that? How did you guys take it?
Well, I have to say, in regards to her walk, it wasn't amazing, but it didn't, I agree with you, Jacqueline, it didn't strike me as awful, but I just think overall the competition or the challenge this week was a little bit odd in regards to judging. It was based upon what dress got the highest bid. And
what if you got an ugly dress?
That's the thing. And yes, a model's walk has a lot to do with how the dress is presented and how, it looks, on the runway. But to judge it based on the bid, it just didn't, in some ways, I hate to use this word, didn't seem fair, but it just didn't really seem fair to the model, because, exactly as Alicona said, like, what if you get a bad dress or a weird dress? I mean, it's so subjective.
I totally agree. This is kind of like, again, we've been talking about this week after week, like the challenges, we're not so sure about them and we're divided about them. And I agree. I remember thinking, and totally, Erica, like the way a model walks and works an outfit can make it look really good. But these people are donating money to a charity and they're buying the garment. So literally it's whatever is going to be fashionable for the masses, or is going to look good on everyone, or whoever the richest person is in the audience, what body type they are, and what that dress or garment is going to look good on them. And yes, I do think that Kiara probably worked it and I think she has a great walk.
I agree.
So that that helped her. But I do think that it kind of wasn't fair, because they're not voting for who they think worked it the best. They're voting for the outfit, and it just happened to be assigned to that girl. And it's not like the girls got to pick their outfits. They were assigned the outfits beforehand.
And I do have to give a shout out to the designer, Mara Hoffman. She's great. I don't know if you guys know that much about her, but just from a kind of fashion standpoint, she's from upstate New York. And it's interesting how she was discovered because she was actually a dancer, but she did go to the design school in New York, and she had just started her collection, and she did specialize in unique prints, just as what you saw in the dresses. But she was actually out on the street wearing one of her designs, and the costume designer stylist of Sex and the City saw her, and she spotted her, and she's like, "Oh my God, what are you wearing?" And then from there, from there, her name is Patricia Field, the costume designer, and then she has a store
for Sex and the City.
For Sex and the
Patricia
City.
Field.
And so Patricia Field also has a store. She carried all Mara's things, and the rest is history. So she has a swimwear line that she's really well known for. So her prints and everything are amazing.
That's an amazing story. I didn't know all of that background like that. It's awesome.
She has a very cool background.
Yeah, and speaking of Patricia Field, not only have I modeled for Patricia Field, but that being said, Jonty, remember, was wearing all Patricia Field at the premiere when he was wearing those famous platforms that we'll see him later. We'll get to Jonty's style.
yes.
Later.
We will.
But he rocks Patricia Field all the time. He was rocking her at the premiere. So all the worlds come together, right? It's a small fashion world and a big one at the same time.
Yeah.
But Mara Hoffman, yes, definitely shout out to those amazing designs. I mean, even with Laura's ugly hat choice and looking to me like a witch, she still had maybe one of the best dresses, actually. I love that print, and it did happen to look great on her with her hair, which I'm not complimenting anymore until she loses the attitude. But definitely the prints are amazing. And can someone else tell me why Laura was wearing that hat, though? And did anybody else think it looked as horrible as I did?
Yeah, I don't know what that was, but it was her job to delegate how this runway show was supposed to be. And I'm surprised that I know it's too many cooks in the kitchen, but they were on the bus and she's like, what do you think the hair and makeup should look like? Why did nobody chime in and say hair and makeup is always the same? That's the cohesive element in a runway show. How do you not know that?
And you're a model.
She's just letting people, well, I think my hair should be down. Well, I think it should be up. It's like, everybody shut your mouth. I'm in charge, and this is how it works. Sorry, I don't mean to sound rude, but she needed to Kelly Catrone said it best when she got there. She said, you can't be people's friends when it's time to delegate. Right. And maybe Kelly takes it a little far, but I think, Lauren really needed to step in and say, look, the cohesive hair and makeup is what has got to tie the show together. And I think she should have stepped in. I think they should have done like big, crazy hair or something, but
yeah, the hats were a little off.
Hats were not, that hat was not good.
Except I did think Victoria looked great in her hat. I thought she looked awesome. She has that almost like old Victorian English, almost a little bit witchy, but not so much look going on, and I think she rocked it. Right. I thought she looked great.
I want to get back into the way Laura was delegating stuff too, because I just think it's funny, the irony of the fact that all this drama is happening and you're being mean and you're doing all this, and then talk the talk and walk the walk. You clearly just showed your lack of experience right there when you freaked out and didn't know how to tell people what to do, and then you're over here like, well, maybe we should, and then at the end she's like telling the makeup artist and the hairstylist, okay, smoky eye, pale lip, and what are you talking about?
Yeah, one minute you're confident, one minute you're not. Yeah, she was all over the place.
And that was so staged too, the way she made that announcement. To me, it just looked fake overall. It looked like the makeup artists were looking at her like, why are you even talking?
Yeah, exactly.
We already got our instructions from probably Kelly or somebody else.
There's some key artists. Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, and it just looked staged.
I was saying, because the makeup didn't even look like that anyways. At all. So
no.
Clearly nobody was listening.
She definitely did not prove herself as a leader, and she definitely did not prove herself strong in the photo shoot challenge, which is why I can't believe that she was in like the top 2 for each thing.
Right.
And that's, really shocked me, because where are these outside factors coming into play? Normally, if you're the leader like that and you fumble, you're going to get punished for it. So I'm not really understanding why she got such a free pass here.
Yeah.
But Victoria, Laura, and Kiara were really the top contenders for this challenge, and I don't know that I agree with that. I don't think that, I think you guys said Victoria looked great. For me, I passed right by her. I didn't even notice her. And Laura, I didn't think looked great. I didn't think she was, top 3 for me. I thought Nastasia rocked it.
Yes,
I thought Brittany was totally going for it. Either way, I'm glad Kiara won, because I do agree with that, but I don't agree with Victoria and Laura being the top, rounding out that top 3, I have to say.
I have to disagree, just from a designer perspective, having a line and everything. If I were to pick probably any of those girls, I probably would pick Victoria. Probably Victoria. I would pick Kristin, Nastasia, and Kiara. They would be my top ones, just based on what I saw and how they rocked the dresses. So I kind of have to disagree with you a little bit there. But I think we're in agreement there on Natasha and Kiara.
Well, yeah, that's definitely, you can't deny that, right?
No.
Nastasia really rocked it. She said from the beginning of this season that she knows how to move and knows how to pose and walk, and she's definitely owned it. I'm waiting for Nastasia to really pop out of her shell here and have a moment on the show, because I think she's doing. Yeah, she's growing.
Well, she got number 1 this week, so she's definitely out there. She got best photo. I think she's to me, she's above and beyond all the other girls without a doubt. She's she has such an awesome look.
Yes.
I love her hair. I love just the way she moves, her face. I think she's amazing. I mean, I would book her in a heartbeat.
I'm waiting to see an episode about her since they seem to be narrowing it down girl by girl. I want to see what they pull.
Yeah, I want to see something more, the like more emotional, deep side of her. Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like it's like we're just starting with the win. We're like going to see, we're going to go into next week now, seeing more about her, and I'm excited for that. But let's get into the photo shoot because we do have so much to talk about with this one. Obviously Nastasia coming through and getting the win. Very excited to talk about that. Some other things I'm not so excited to talk about. And I think we have to start with Jonty.
Hey.
Speaking of Patricia Field, I really hope that
she didn't design
that is not her smiley face design.
Yeah.
I'm very glad you girls titled this Jonty, What Are You Wearing?
Thank you.
Let's call this segment Jonty, What Are You Wearing? And I'll let you ladies take it from here.
Okay, I have to get into him first and foremost for several reasons. This was his debut of him coaching the girls because the first episode that we saw him in, he didn't necessarily coach them. He just introduced himself. This time around, I was a bit underwhelmed, to be honest with you, because as somebody who, I was a cheerleader and I was a dancer and I've done all that, and I expect a lot from him because you have a lot of awareness of your body. However, you don't have any modeling experience or working with models that I know of, and so the direction I felt he was giving them was, anybody can say, point your toes more. Now do this. Yeah, and the thing is if you're going to demo it for people, you better kill that. And for me, I'm a visual learner. So if you're going to be like, this is how it's done, girls, you better like, shablam, not go up and go down. And why are you wearing your spiky, like those poor boys trying to lift him up anyway. Yeah. But I was very disappointed in it, and nothing against him personally. But then it makes me wonder, like, Tyra, why did you hire him if his job is to coach these girls?
Made me miss Benny Medina a little bit.
Yeah. And I have to totally agree with you, Alicona. I just felt he was more interested in himself and showing off and acting all having like he's having fun. And I was not a fan, to be honest. I didn't feel like I didn't get the sense of he was there to help the girls, to coach them, to make sure they're doing a good job. It was just more about him and him showing off and getting all dressed up and jumping up in the air. I was definitely, I have to agree, I was definitely
There definitely wasn't a lot of like visual direction, like Alicona said, and Erica, I know you agree. I felt like he was going to give like a couple of examples and talk about, doing something besides a passe. I feel like that's all he showed them. But right before he comes on, they show these amazing photos of him like with his leg up past like his head and like bent in a really weird way. So I'm expecting him to do that up in that lift, and clearly
he just went up and down.
He just went up and down. I was like, and boring. I was underwhelmed too.
Yeah.
Jackie, what do you think?
Well, you have to give him a little credit for doing the stunt in spike platforms, but I think you actually have to give more credit to those basers.
Yes.
Cheerleading term there.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Former cheerleader as well. But hello, they got slashed and gashed and hit in the head, and nobody's paying attention to those poor people at the bottom there. No. So poor Laura, you had to get tossed up in the air. You had to kick somebody's head open. What about the people that are getting their heads kicked open the whole day?
Right,
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So anyway, let's get into this photo shoot.
Yes.
Because I'm definitely, I'm feeling this one. There was a lot of action. Some girls surprised me. And I have to say, starting with Victoria, have to talk about Victoria because I think it might be the funniest comment to date from Kelly Catrone in judging when they're talking about this photo and they say that she looks like a middle-aged man ready to take a nap.
What is that? She looks like a bird to me.
After Kelly said that, it actually is pretty dead-on accurate if you think about it.
And I also wasn't feeling her armpit right there. I thought that was like the first thing I saw when I saw her photo.
Yeah, I'm not in love with the double jointed elbow.
It's not cheerish to me.
It just, it was a weird picture.
Yeah.
I think the arms are weird. Her body did create a good line, but not when you get to the arms. And then the middle-aged man comment, oh my God, that's all I see when I look at her face up close now.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I know. Well, Jackie, Oh, I was going to say, Jackie, middle-aged man, young man, middle-aged women. I'm sure there's tons of people out there listening to us out on iTunes. I want to just take a second to encourage you guys to go to iTunes, to rate us, to comment. We're here doing the gossip and research for you guys, giving our different opinions, and let us know how we're doing. We love Top Model. We love you listeners here, and definitely tell a friend. And rate us. Hopefully 5 stars.
We love reading your comments, so
we
please do.
Yes.
Yes, we do, guys. If you want to talk about the middle-aged man that is Victoria, you want to talk about us, say it all on iTunes. We love it. We love it. We can't get enough of it. Comment.
Yes.
And speaking of which, I'm going to comment on the shock that is the elimination of Leila.
Leila.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she was making a duck face. She did look a little bit in the eye by a mosquito.
Yes.
But as Brian Boy put it, she's popular online. She's done literally outweighed the photos pretty much every week, like I've been saying. When you look at her run of photos when they eliminated her, and each one of those could actually be a real model portfolio in the real world, because I've probably seen hundreds and hundreds of books of all my fellow model mates in the world, and the girls would die to have those photos. I just don't understand how in episode 5, someone like Leila, who's been doing so great, who already has a better picture than our first girl, Victoria, that we just talked about, how do you get eliminated? How did she get eliminated? I mean, it's not the best picture, but it was certainly not the worst.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's the worst either.
But and the thing is, she was talking about too in an interview was in the past, you know, they've looked at people and been like, you have great potential. Every week you've done really well. This week, Whereas now the way they're judging it, because it's not one consecutive thing, it's week by week. So unfortunately, even though she's been like running the show for the past few episodes, one bad shot and it's like, sorry.
I have to say though, and you know, Jackie and probably the two of you guys too will probably break your heart by saying this, but you know, I don't think Leila should have been eliminated, but I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% feeling her look, really at all. Like, I thought she was a decent model. I thought she looked much better in her photos than she does in person. Her look overall, I just wasn't feeling it from the get-go. I don't think she should have been eliminated. I definitely think Brittany should have been eliminated, but she wasn't my favorite, and her look to me didn't scream like
She's
amazing.
So high. She is the only one that's high fashion. I know they're kind of trying to go a more realistic route as to what the America's Next Top Model's past winners have been able to do, which is way more commercial stuff and less high fashion. And they've been more successful in the past in that. So maybe this time it's like, well, even if you are high fashion, it doesn't seem to be where these models go after. I mean, how many top models have we seen that do like only high fashion stuff now? Like, I see them all on TV, all of them. Like in commercials and in like magazine photo shoots, like print work. I don't see like straight high fashion, crazy like Italian Vogue spreads.
Well, it seems like they're actually kind of going away from the whole high fashion
That's
thing
what I'm saying.
too.
So maybe that's why she didn't do so well. Maybe subconsciously there's some of that going on because they know that that's not what these models turn into. But I agree with you, Erica, in the sense that I don't think she should have gone home either.
Right.
I think she was like a top favorite of mine. I definitely don't think she should have gone home, but I see what you're saying. Like, she's a very specific look.
Yeah, and bringing in the social media aspect of it's definitely going to go towards more of a commercial type of a person. I mean, overall,
like a Kristin,
definitely like a Kristin.
Yeah.
So I think the whole show in general, I mean, just the fact that instead of Vogue magazine, they're having Nylon magazine, and you know, just so many different elements of the show are going towards a more commercial look. So it isn't totally a surprise to me that, I mean, a little bit, but not 100% surprised that she went home this early. So
I was surprised she went home early.
My thing is, I think that she. Sorry, go ahead. There, did I? I'm over here in New York, so I can't see the ladies in the studio.
It's okay. No. I was just gonna say. I mean, I was surprised she went home so early. Did I think she was gonna win? No. I thought she was gonna be in the top. I felt like, not that Laura's my favorite, but I thought she was gonna somewhere be in the top, along with Nastasia and Kiara. I still like her a lot too. But she did say, she being Leila, she did say that Kelly Cutrone had told her in the past that she has high expectations of her, so she is holding her to a higher standard. But at the same time, is that really fair in comparison to.
And Kelly gave her the 4, correct?
Exactly. But I'm sorry, Jackie, what did you want to pitch in?
I'm going to throw something out there. I'm not sure where it stands. It's a total conspiracy theory, but from the way Tyra was knocking her in the beginning of the episode to the whole breakdown, I want to say there's a little bit of a conspiracy theory going on behind the scenes with this one. Maybe they wanted to throw a shock elimination out there. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Maybe.
It's a possibility because it's definitely something groundbreaking for like a midway through the season episode. And I just, we know we have the comeback challenge going on. Maybe it draws more people to the comeback challenge online.
Maybe.
I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I don't know any behind the scenes.
That makes total sense, Jackie. That's actually a really good point, and I would not be surprised. I mean, that's definitely a probable.
Yeah, I agree.
But I was thinking about this too while watching the show, and in regards to the social media vote and the judges' vote, what's to really say that the judges don't already know the social media vote ahead of time too? And that's what I was thinking while they were going through it. I mean, they probably already know the social media vote, and so sometimes, they're judges, they're human. Maybe Kelly loves Kristin, and say Kristin, even though this isn't true, but say Kristin had a low social media score, she might bump up her score a couple points knowing that. So I don't know exactly how it goes on behind the scenes, but that, Jackie, I was kind of on the same wavelength of you. I think in general, not just this episode, but I think in general, there's got to be a little bit more to what we're seeing in regards to the social media vote.
Yeah, you never know, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out how Leila got eliminated. That's my point. That's my thing. I'm just thinking of all the options. But the thing is, regardless, I do think that Leila, by the way, she's not even my kind of look, actually. I'm not one for like the high. I like girls that can span the line between commercial and high fashion myself. Mm-hmm. But just knowing what the industry goes for, she's one of the first girls in a long time that I could actually see doing well in the industry. I really thought it was good for top model to have someone like her on there. There's some in the past that are the girls that you're like, oh my God, if that's high fashion, why do we exist? But she's like high fashion in a good way for me. So
yeah,
I'm not over this one yet. I'm still disappointed, but I think we should talk about some of these other girls.
Sure.
Kiara, quickly, we'll pass over her. I think she did good. Nothing too great.
The only thing I want to say about Kiara before we pass over her is I think she's gorgeous. I'm a big fan of hers, but I think she, in my opinion, looks a little old in general, not just in this photo, but just generally speaking. And when she came out in her cheerleader outfit, it's like, ooh, it almost looked like she was like the coach or something of the cheerleader team, not the actual cheerleader team.
She does read old to me. In my opinion on this photo, just to get it out there, is her body looks really weak in this photo to me.
I agree.
I got to pitch in too. Something that they said in the judging panel was constantly you heard, why is she not in the air? All the other girls are in the air. First of all, she had a few shots that were in the air. And like we talked about last week, we don't know what they're going to pick and if that's really their fault or not. That's first. Second of all, she's not a cheerleader, so I'm probably going to say that she didn't go to her bases and be like, hey, put me in a lib. That's what I want to look like. So it wasn't her decision. So how are you going to knock her? Like Rob was like, why are you not in the air? That's not her fault.
Yeah, I don't like when the judges say stuff like that because it's like she didn't get to pick the photo, and I'm sure there were some of her in the air. So it's like, yeah, that always bugs me too in the judging when they're like, well, why is your head turned that way? Well, maybe in 800 other shots you took, my head wasn't turned that way, but you didn't pick that photo.
Right, and now I'm being docked for it.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure there were a few flying ones there with Kiara, but so it goes. She's still in the competition. I think she's doing great. She's, ups and downs, but I'm a Kiara fan right now.
Yeah.
But Kristin, I'm still not a Kristin fan because until she has a good attitude, I'm not going to be a Kristin fan. Yeah. Her standing on the sidelines with Laura, talking ish about, oh well, she didn't do that good, but you did this and she did that. That's not productive. It's not going to get you anywhere in life. Honestly, Kristin is just a troublemaker, and there's just nothing I like about her yet again. And I'm so, in a way, I don't want to talk anybody down because then you're stooping to their level. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm disappointed that she had a leg up and was able to do well here because I'm waiting for the judges to really give her a piece of their mind, and yet Kelly is liking her.
What's up with that?
It's almost like Mean Girls teaming up.
Right? Because Kelly, to me, seemed a little extraordinarily mean this episode. She was kind of bugging me. And I've seen Kelly Catrone on TV before, and she's always kind of, I mean, this is just my opinion, she's always kind of bugged me because to me, I'm just throwing this out there, I have no idea about Kelly Catrone's life, but she to me seems like a angry person because she had trouble getting along with people or people didn't like her growing up, and so now she's just mean to everyone else. That's how she comes off to me. So I don't know what's up with her getting all up about Kristin. Maybe they relate to each other in that way, but it was weird.
I have to say I'm a huge Kelly Catrone fan. Huge. I actually read her biography. I've seen her on TV. I love her. I love how outspoken she is, and she does have a really fascinatingly interesting past. I don't want to go into the whole thing, but if anyone's interested, check out her book. But I think in some ways, I think part of the reason why she likes Kristin is because I think that what she does in her world, it's PR. And PR is much more of a commercial type of a world. And those kind of girls like Kristin's look is what does well in her kind of photo shoots, and her kind of fashion shows, and her kind of what she does. So that's part of the reason why I think she in some ways likes Kristin.
Right. Well, we're looking at it.
Well, let me just jump in there for a second, Erica. Unfortunately, I have to disagree with you on that one because I've actually gone on castings with Kelly Catrone, and believe it or not, she's in the high fashion PR world, and she actually hates commercial girls. She hated me. I have that blonde, somewhat commercial look. She actually hates commercial girls. So I am even more why I'm shocked that she likes Kristin.
So why do you think she likes her?
Hate Kristin.
Then what's your...
I think they relate on the we're not nice to people for whatever our inside reasons are, maybe. I don't know if she even sees that in her, but I just don't... Kelly, to me, I think you can be a woman in charge and be super cool and successful and not have to be overtly crazy mean. To me, it's a little overkill, and that's same thing that turns me off about Kristin. So maybe that's why subconsciously they're relating. I don't know, but I don't get why she likes her either.
But Kristin kisses butt. If you guys notice,
yeah, she did during the
this
show.
last one. I don't remember what specifically Kelly said, but you see Kristin with her hands behind her back and just giving doe eyes,
and she's like, "I'm melting," or she said something like, "Oh my god, thank you, that means so much."
Yeah, and you're like, gag.
Yeah.
Well, we see more than the judges see, but whatever. I don't understand why they like each other, but I do. I mean, I think her pose is interesting. It's very cheerleaderish, which I know they didn't want it to be overly cheerleaderish, but she is a very strong, long, lean body, and it shows the clothes off. Yeah, it shows the clothes off.
I think her photo was great. I think it was one of the best of the bunch. I mean, not the best, but I think it was definitely up there.
And look how she's right in the middle of the field goal. I kind of like that.
It's pretty cool, the colors and all that. Good photo.
Yeah, no, I totally have to agree. I don't want to wish poorly on anybody, and I'm not saying that I'm not happy that she had a good photo. Regardless of her attitude, she did have a good photo. I'll totally give her that this week.
Yeah.
It's the first photo that I really thought was good for her of all weeks, too, and she's just really upping the nasty factor. But, so it goes.
Yeah.
At least she has a good picture, so good for her. We'll slowly break into the Kelly Kristin bond because it's boggling my mind, Erica and all the girls here. We're gonna keep our eye on that one. And fans out there, definitely tweet us what you think. But that's an interesting one. But let's get into Brittany, who was really another interesting one this week in judging, right? The Disney girl breaking down. It's kind of weird because Brittany kind of actually is growing on me in a weird way too. I don't know why. I don't think she's doing that well necessarily right now, but I noticed a fire in her. I have to say that. I noticed a fire in her to want to do well and really, bring something from the runway challenge to the judging. I'm seeing some fire in her that's making me kind of like her. Not that I thought she did that well.
I'm not a huge fan of her. I kind of wish she would have gone home. I didn't like her pictures. I don't like her look. I mean, she's a pretty girl. She doesn't look like a model to me. She doesn't even look like not even like a high fashion, not even like a commercial model. She just doesn't look like a model. She's in the wrong competition.
I agree. I've never been a Britney fan, and especially after they gave her that hair, I don't know. And this picture is really weak to me. It really bothers me unless you're doing modern dance when people do not point their toes. I don't like the way it looks. And when you're modeling, you need to elongate your body. I'm not a model, but I know that just from looking and visually and hearing and watching the show. Her weak, dangly limbs are annoying to me. And she's a nice girl, but I just have never been a fan of her look. And I don't think she's so unique looking that she can't be commercial, but then she's a little too soft to be high fashion. So I don't really know where she fits either. And I've never been a fan, and I think she should have gone home.
Yeah.
Well, I just think she's a little bland.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Bland
Yeah,
in the
no,
face.
I'm really not a fan of her look. But I'm liking a little bit of like her like crying and her wanting it and trying to bring it in the fashion show. I mean, I'm feeling for her in that way. But
that's true. I could see that.
Made a good call though. She doesn't really fit high fashion. She doesn't really fit commercial. So where does she fit?
Sure,
Exactly.
She's Disney sexy.
The hair is important.
What did Tyra
What
call
is
it?
that?
Oh my gosh.
I love that. Disney sexy. It reminds me of Halloween. All the girls dressed up in like sexy
was
Cinderella,
that?
sexy Snow White. Sexy
Disney sexy. That
What
was
an
so weird.
oxymoron.
Tyra always said that, like, you could be a hoe, but fashion. But
Yeah.
and she does all those examples.
Slides with her hoe.
This one was like her like most classic.
Yeah.
Like sexy Disney. I was like, what are you, Tyra? You've really gone off the deep end.
Yeah,
honey.
I thought that was odd. Moving on.
Well, ladies, let's get into our winner, who I'm so excited about. Like I said, I can't wait to see more of her next week. Nastasia.
Yeah.
I am so excited that she really came out, she came out of nowhere in the photo shoot. She really, they didn't show her that much, in my opinion. They were so focused on the drama of Leila and Kristin, the Laura triangle, that I really think Nastasia winning was like, only when they flashed her picture did I realize that she was like going to be a winner right here.
That's
So I'm
such
so
a cool
excited for
photo.
that.
Yeah.
I think she did great.
I like that photo. It's super cute. It embodies what they were looking for. It's not like, the pose is kind of cheery-ish, but there was something about her intense stare. Like, didn't Rob say like she looks like she's cheerleading, but then she saw a girl in the stands that she doesn't like, and that's what turned it a little fashion to me, and it wasn't so commercial cheery to me. I think she did great.
I would say I love her. Everything about her, I love her. In this photo in particular, I love her from the waist up. I don't know why, and maybe it's the cheerleader thing, but her legs bother me a little bit.
Well, her legs are a little they're a little uneven, and that kind of bothers.
open.
Yeah, it kind of bothers me too, the unevenness. But overall, I think the photo is kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it's a slamming photo. To me, it almost looks like something like a Target ad. You know,
Yeah, I
Target
can see
does all
that.
those colors and fun fantasy type
Yeah,
things.
it's
and-
poppy.
Yeah, she's got like a prom dress on, but she's up in the air like a cheerleader. I think it's an awesome photo. I love her face in the photo. She just is totally slamming in this photo. And I want her hair. Can I have her hair? Her big curly hair.
I know, I'm jealous.
Not in this photo, but just in general. I love her hair.
Yeah.
If I could have hair in another life, it would be her hair. Love it.
All right. Well, I'm glad. I think we all agree there's lots of good stuff going on with Nastasia, so I'm very excited about her win. Now, another couple of ladies, because we're going to run out of time here talking about all these beautiful and maybe not so beautiful at some time girls, but Yvonne and Alyssa, both kind of, to me, I mean, I think Yvonne's face beautiful. Alyssa, I feel like Alyssa was really pretty weak this episode, and I'm pretty shocked that she wasn't standing there at the bottom this week.
Yeah.
Pretty forgettable in general. I'd say the two of them just are a little just kind of there or not there.
Yeah. With Alyssa, I was a little surprised too. I know I'm going back to the drama a little bit, but there was a short clip with her when she was in the room and Laura's talking her mess, and she kind of pipes in and makes a face and does something. I don't know. It really bothered me. And then I was like, your personality, I think, is going to get to me in the future too.
Personality is really coming into play this season, guys. And I think Yvonne's picture was meh, and Alyssa's was meh to me as well.
Yeah, squared.
Yeah.
But let's finish up on Laura. And personality, the one thing that producer Ken Mock did say to me, he did not tell me anything about anything that I was, guessing with the judging and Leila and all that. But what he did say is that the personalities were so good this season. And boy, was he right, because it's showing every week. Laura, of course, being the star personality this week, not necessarily for good reasons. But what did you guys think of her photo? Because the drama that she brought to this photo shoot in such a little girl, immature way, I mean, she did pull out somewhat of a good photo, but I just feel like if you pull that on a shoot, you don't get away with it.
Let's pull Laura's photo up really quick.
I liked her photo. I have to say, I think, between her and Nastasia, I think that she was probably, I think she was definitely number 2 to me. I think it was a great photo. And same with Kiara, I do think Laura tends to look older. There's something older about her. But actually in this shoot, the way her hair was up, back, I think she looked great. I thought I thought she nailed this photo.
I actually like this more now that I'm looking at it than when I was watching the show.
Yeah.
I don't really like her after all this. And can we please talk about how freaked out she was that she was going to get blown off of the top of a mountain when she goes hiking? I am sorry, but what kind of cray talk is that? I'm not trying to demean her fear. I know those are very real things, but what is going on?
And I loved how Victoria, during the shoot, like, she just tells it like it is. She's like, are you serious? Are you really crying?
Right.
Like, seriously? Like, you're on America's Next Top
she's
Model.
gonna get
over
blown
it.
off the top of the mountain. Who in that room could have a serious face? They're all like, it's okay. I'm like, what is wrong? I'm sorry, whatever. But the picture is actually better than what I remember. I think for
looks
being
like a
as
Barbie.
being as afraid as she was, I kind of like it.
pulled
But
it off.
she's annoying.
But
so.
I'm like, why were you? But do you think it's real fear? I think it was a little bit of fear, but she was still crying when she was doing her confessional. You know what I mean? Like, you're not even in the air anymore. You're just talking about the fact that you were in the air, and you're like having a meltdown.
She seems like she is able to turn on the waterworks. Maybe she
The
didn't really
acting
show it in the
thing.
Tyler Perry one, but she did get something from her dad because
gonna
I think
say.
she turns it on when she wants.
Yeah, I agree.
To me, it seemed, in that sense, it seemed
Very
genuine.
good point.
Yeah.
And I think that Victoria is a good person. I totally agree. She's very good for calling it like it is, I have to say. But let's get into some news and gossip. But before we do, ladies, do we have anything else to share? Because we have to wrap it up with some news and gossip about Leila and that shocking elimination.
No, I think we can
No,
go
let's-
right to
Yeah,
news and
go into
gossip.
it.
We've
Let's go talk
nothing
about Leila.
else.
All right, let's get into it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, Leila, still can't believe it. Guys, I know a lot of you tweeted to us out there that you can't either, but she did share some thoughts on everything that went down, and she did talk about her moment with Laura and the whole Tyra Suite thing. She said, the thing with the argument is that Laura said I should talk to her, and I did talk to her. I had approached her a few times about the situation, and she'd always say, oh, I never said that. It's not true. And it just got to the point where I got tired of people talking about me, and I confronted her seriously, which is what you saw on TV, because it was driving me insane. And like I said, I think she's right on with that. Laura was totally caught, and Leila just called it like it was. She totally called her out. So, you know, clearing that up right there. And then when she was asked about being friendly or not with one another, she said, I have no problem becoming friends with many of the girls, and I tried to become friends with them. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. I think we know who by now with her.
Yeah.
But she said, it wasn't until the point I realized Laura wasn't being honest that I don't have to be friends with anyone. I didn't come for that. So she, you know, pretty much called Laura out yet again. But I was most surprised by who she would like to see win. She is going for Brittany or Nastasia. Those are her picks.
Brittany, really?
I go for Nastasia, but we've already talked about
Yeah.
that. So
Well, that's
Maybe-
interesting to
maybe
see
they're
her
nice-
point of view.
Yeah, nice girls, and she really likes them. So
Yeah, but you got to be a good model. So
I think Nastasia.
Yeah. So I think her going for Brittany and Nastasia is kind of a sign of who were the nicer ones in the
Yes.
house. That's how I take it.
yeah, for sure.
But I think we're all on the Nastasia train right now, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
But,
we are.
Speaking of which, let's get into some predictions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so I think we might have one of our most interesting challenges yet, bringing a video game to life. What do you guys think about this one? And what about Yvonne going off on poor
I
little
love that.
Brian boy?
No, I love that. I love that. The reason I love that is because I noticed him giving some constructive criticism on some of the other photo shoots. And part of me is like, why are you here doing that? Because you are a guru in social media, and maybe you do talk about fashion, but you're not a model and you're not a modeling coach. So why are you directing them? So I could see, I don't know what happens next week, but I do know that if he's, you know, piping in and pitching in and saying all these things, I could understand why she's getting an attitude.
Well,
Like,
I
okay.
completely agree. He doesn't necessarily have a place to do that. However, I will say this. everyone does that, and every now and then people get, say things maybe they shouldn't say or step on toes. As a professional, you have to just let it roll off your back. Okay, sure, and move on.
True.
You can't pull attitude like that. I think she's going to get a lashing on, and I'm just going to say I think Kristin's going to do horrible on the video game challenge. She just seems so boring to me. She's going to be like, I don't just think she's going to do bad. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and then looking at the video game challenge too, it's just another one of those challenges where I'm like, is it really related to modeling? It's just like they're just bringing it in just to do something different.
Agreed.
And I really would love to. I mean, this one was nice. The fashion show, it was more relevant. I just would love for them to keep doing more relevant type of challenges. This one just looks like it's just gonna, I don't know, 15 minutes. I'll probably just.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall
you
see.
gotta always get a quirky one in there, right?
Yes.
For every good one, you're gonna get a quirky one. But it should be interesting to say the least. And I can't wait to join everybody next week. But as we sign off here, ladies, let's go around and tell everybody where we can chat and follow each other till next week.
I am Lauren Leonelli. You can follow me at Lauren Leonelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and my website.
And I am Alicona Bradford. You can follow me on Facebook and Tumblr, Alicona Bradford, or you can tweet me at Kiss My Passport.
And I am Erica Vieira, and you can find me on Twitter at Erica Vieira LA, or go to my fashion website at rallybabe.com. It's been fun.
Yes, you have to shop her fashion, everybody, and follow us all and tweet with us. I'm Jackie Miranne. You can follow me and tweet with me on anything Jackie Miranne. And I can't wait to check back in with you guys next week, ladies.
Yay!
See you next week.
Bye.
See you guys next week.
From Bing.com, executive Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.